Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're putting in the hard work, you deserve to be paid fairly for your time. That's where the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, comes in. In today's video, we're diving into what the FLSA is all about, especially when it comes to overtime pay. This is crucial information for anyone working in the United States, so let's get started. So, what exactly is the Fair Labor Standards Act? Well, it's a federal law that was put in place way back in 1938 to establish basic labor standards for workers across the country. This includes things like setting the minimum wage, making sure you get paid overtime, requiring employers to keep accurate records, and even protecting children from being exploited in the workforce. The FLSA generally applies to most full-time and part-time workers in the private sector and in government jobs. Let's take a quick look at some key provisions of the FLSA, minimum wage. The FLSA establishes a federal minimum wage that all covered employers must pay their employees. Overtime pay. This is a big one, and we'll get into more detail in a bit, but it generally requires employers to pay eligible employees overtime for any hours worked beyond a standard threshold. Record keeping. The FLSA mandates that employers keep accurate records of how many hours their employees work and how much they're paid. This is important for ensuring you're getting paid correctly. Child labor protections. The law also sets limits on how many hours minors can work and restricts them from doing certain jobs that are considered hazardous. Now let's really focus on overtime pay. Under the FLSA, the standard rule is that you must be paid at least 1.5 times your regular hourly rate for any hours you work beyond 40 hours in a single work week. It's important to note that the FLSA looks at your total hours worked in a week, not necessarily in a single day. This brings us to a common point of confusion, the 8-hour versus the 40-hour rule. While some people think you should get overtime for working more than 8 hours in a day, the federal FLSA doesn't actually require daily overtime. The overtime requirement under federal law kicks in only after you've worked more than 40 hours in a work week. So, why do some companies avoid paying overtime for working more than 8 hours in a day? Well, here are a few reasons. Federal versus state law differences. As I mentioned, the FLSA only mandates overtime after 40 hours a week. However, some states like California have their own labor laws that do require overtime pay for any hours worked beyond 8 hours in a single day. So companies operating only under federal law in states without daily overtime rules might avoid paying it. Misclassification of employees. Unfortunately, some employers try to get around overtime rules by incorrectly classifying employees as exempt, meaning they're considered salaried workers and not eligible for overtime. This is often done improperly. Time-shaving practices. Some less scrupulous employers might try to alter or round down your recorded work hours to avoid showing that you worked more than 40 hours in a week. Unpaid off-the-clock work. There are businesses that expect employees to do work before they clock in or after they clock out, leading to unpaid hours that should count towards overtime. Lack of awareness by employees. Sadly, many workers simply aren't aware of their rights under the FLSA, and this can allow companies to take advantage of them. So what can you do if you believe you're being denied the overtime pay you're owed? Here are some important steps. Review your pay records. Keep track of your own hours and carefully review your pay stubs to make sure they accurately reflect all the time you've worked. Know your state laws. As we discussed, some states have stronger labor laws than the federal FLSA. Find out what the laws are in your state, as they might offer you additional protections regarding daily overtime. File a complaint with the U.S. Department of Labor, DOL. The Wage and Hour Division, WHD, of the DOL is responsible for investigating FLSA violations. You can file a confidential complaint with them if you believe your rights have been violated. Consider legal action. If you are owed unpaid overtime, you have the right to file a lawsuit under the FLSA to recover those wages. The FLSA is there to protect workers and ensure fair compensation. It's crucial to understand your rights and to be aware of the common ways some companies try to avoid paying overtime. By staying informed, documenting your work hours, and being willing to take action if necessary, you can help ensure you're being paid what you've earned. I hope this video gave you a better understanding of the FLSA and your rights to overtime pay. If you found this information helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more insights on navigating the legal and workplace landscape. Share your own experiences or questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.